I've been formulating my own skincare products for about a decade now, and I have really seen the prices increase so much over time. So what I decided to do is give you guys an entire haul of ingredients under $100 where you can make body wash, shampoo, and these are gorgeous, more clear formulations, face wash, and a moisturizer, all under $100, and that $100 includes shipping as well. I also have a bonus formula for you guys with just one other ingredient. Obviously, this will bring the cost a little bit over $100, but you'll also be able to make an oil to milk cleanser. All these formulas are beginner friendly. You don't need to adjust the pH, and you don't need to add any additional thickeners. I made sure to get all the ingredients from the same supplier, so shipping and shopping would be a lot easier for you guys. The affiliate links are down below. I do make commission off of the purchases, but it doesn't cost any more to you guys. It's just an easy way to support my channel. Let's start off with making the body wash. This is the simplest one to make. Make sure you have a sanitized container and it needs to be heat safe. I combined my distilled water, the cocamidopropyl betaine, the glycerin, mix those together, and then make sure you wear a respirator when working with SCI. I poured that in, and don't expect it to dissolve, but go ahead and mix it in. And we're going to heat this up using a water bath. Fill a pan with about an inch or so of water, depending on how big your vessel is, and put it on about medium heat. You don't want it to boil. All these other formulas, we're gonna get to these here in a second. But for now, this is what it should look like. It will thicken up a whole bunch because this body wash actually doesn't need any additional thickener. And once it cooled down to under 100 degrees Fahrenheit, you can add in the preservative. The combination of SCI and cocamidopropyl betaine gives it a natural thickened viscosity. Keep in mind, if you change out those ingredients, yours might not be thick, or if you purchase them from a different supplier, yours might not turn out as thick as mine. And then I checked the pH, and the natural pH was right around 5.37, which is great. We don't need to adjust it. And I just let mine sit overnight, and the next day you can pour it in your packaging. And as you can see, this one is super, super thick. It might be too thick for some people. So if you don't want it this thick, you can lower the percentage of cocamidopropyl betaine. This body wash is super easy for beginners. It's very minimal ingredients, inexpensive to make. If you want to add in any water soluble extracts here or use rose hydrosol or lavender hydrosol instead of the distilled water, you can add in water soluble pigments. Have fun customizing yours. If you want, you can just add fragrance to them, but it could change the way it looks a bit. Okay, the next product is a shampoo, and I'm gonna show you guys how just one additional ingredient added into the body wash basically makes it a shampoo. Now, you could literally use this body wash as a shampoo. It's just, I'm gonna add an ingredient that's great for hair in the shampoo, but it's also great for the body. All right, so it basically is the same thing as the first one, but just in case you skipped ahead, here are the instructions. You want to combine the distilled water, the cocamidopropyl betaine, the SCI. It doesn't really matter what order you combine the phase A ingredients in, as long as you wear a respirator while working with SCI. Mix it all together, place it in your water bath, and you might want to come back periodically and mix it to help dissolve the SCI, but eventually the SCI will dissolve, there'll be no chunks, and your product will be nice and thickened. Remove it from heat and let it cool to 100 degrees Fahrenheit. Go ahead and add in the preservative and then the panthenol. So this is, I guess, what I'm using to separate it from a body wash. But honestly, you can put the panthenol in the body wash. Panthenol is great for the skin and the hair, but you'll definitely always see this in a hair care product. So I went ahead and added that in here just to show you guys how just one additional ingredient, you can completely change the product. You can also add in some hydrolyzed proteins. Now that I think about it, you can actually purchase my shampoo beginner's guide over on my website now. I think it's only like $15. It's not that expensive. Or if you want to become a Patreon member, you can have access to this along with so much other content over on Patreon. Now the viscosity for this one did end up being a little bit thinner than the body wash, but the pH is exactly the same. I think the viscosity may have been thinner due to the panthenol, or maybe my scale was just a little off and I used a little bit less cocamidopropyl betaine, maybe a little bit more water. I don't know, but it did end up being a little bit thinner, but I'm not mad about that. This is the perfect, simple, minimal, gentle shampoo. Honestly, it would probably work pretty decent as like a clarifying shampoo. Not super clarifying, but decent enough. Next, we're doing a face wash. This is literally the same exact ingredients in a body wash, but I'm gonna give you some additional tips at the end. All right, by now you probably know the drill. Combine all the phase A ingredients. The difference with this is I'm using less cocamidopropylbutane and SCI. Remember, these are both really gentle, mild foaming surfactants that can be used even on babies, but I lowered the percentage even more to make it more gentle for face washes. I personally don't even really care if my face washes lather and foam up a bunch. This one does. But, you know, it doesn't need to be as big as like a body wash. Body wash, I like to increase the cleansing more, which is why I increase the surfactant percentages. Lowering that surfactant percentage does end up making this face wash more thin compared to the shampoo and the body wash. All right, so of course, mix all together the phase A ingredients, put it in your water bath, let it heat. Then you'll see once the SCI is completely dissolved, it goes clear. Now, while that is cooling, I am going to create a salt solution. What I did is combine 15 grams of distilled water and 3 grams of salt. And I added in a few drops at a time into my face wash to thicken it. So as of now, my face wash is like water thin, maybe a little bit thicker than water, but pretty watery thin. It works fine as a face wash. You don't need to thicken it, but you can easily just thicken it by adding in regular, ordinary table salt. Don't add over 3% salt. It could end up actually like resulting in thinning your product out even more. I actually have an entire post all about how to thicken products with salt over on Patreon, but essentially you can just sprinkle it in there, let it dissolve, but it's better to dissolve the salt in a separate distilled water solution. Add in a few drops and then take note of how much it takes to reach your desired viscosity, and then rewrite the face wash formula with that additional salt. And over on Patreon, I will have the exact formula I used with the exact amount of salt that I used. You really only end up needing about anywhere between like 0.3 to maybe 1%. Again, if you add too much salt, you can actually end up making it thin. But yeah, then once it cooled, I added in the preservative. And again, if you want, you can add in the panthenol to this product as well. And then I checked the pH, which was fine. No adjustment was needed. And I poured into my bottles the next day. This formula is super similar to my recent face wash formula I shared. My favorite face wash recently. It's titled something like that. But yeah, it's similar to that. I really like this face wash. And let's move on to the next one. Now, I'd say this last one is probably the hardest for beginners. But I mean, maybe not. You might actually find it pretty easy. But this is a moisturizer. I love it. It's the perfect type of moisturizer that I personally like to use really anywhere on my body, but specifically on my face. I'm extremely picky with face moisturizers. Extremely picky. But this one, I love. All right, start out with your heat safe sanitized container. Add in the distilled water and the glycerin. This is the water phase, and we're going to be heating this up. Then in a separate sanitized heat safe container, add in the oil soluble ingredients that are heat safe. So I did the cocamidopropylbutane, the Aloe Wax LC, which is my co-emulsifier, and Montanov 68 MB, which is the main emulsifier that's going to be blending the oil and water together. And I'm going to put this in a water bath to heat everything up and melt everything in the oil phase down. And we want the water phase around the same temperature as the oil phase. So we're not like adding cold water into hot water. You just want the water heated so we can pour that in and blend them together. So once everything in the oil phase is melted, you can remove both of them from heat. Add in any water that evaporated from the water phase. So before you heat it up, make sure you take note of how much it weighs because a little bit of water will evaporate. Then pour the water phase into the oil phase and then blend with your immersion blender. I have an entire series that deep dives into how to make emulsions. So if you are a beginner and aren't familiar with this technique, don't worry, I have plenty of videos that explain to you more in depth on how to make lotions. Now, once this cools to under 100 degrees Fahrenheit, add in the panthenol. Like I said before, panthenol is great for the skin and the hair, so I'm adding it in Here, since it's a leave-on product, it'll be great for the face. Then I'm adding in the preservative, mixing everything together, and I'm gonna let it sit overnight before I package it in my jar. So I found this jar on Amazon, and these are just like pump jars. So you don't have to actually stick your hand into the lotion, which is what I prefer to do, especially with homemade products. I just don't want to put dirty hands in there, even if I have clean hands. Still don't want to get any bacteria in the lotion. But yeah, that's how you make it. Super easy. It might have a little bit of a rub-in time, but that just does not bother me. When it comes to face moisturizers, I just notice they moisturize my face so much more if they take longer to rub in. I don't know. I just hate gel moisturizers. I've been on this new hate campaign about gel creams and gel moisturizers, and I realized how much I hate them. I personally love this type of packaging for moisturizers because you don't have to stick your hands in the cream and it just stays so much cleaner. This moisturizer is so lovely. I love it. It makes my skin feel so soft. And then lastly, we have the Oil to Milk Cleanser. Makes a great makeup remover. Massage it into dry skin, add water, massage away, rinse. Perfect makeup remover. So I know this might not be the case for everybody, but personally this covers all of the necessities that I really need other than sunscreen, and that I'm not making that stuff at home, and I don't recommend you making that at home anyways. So other than that, I use a retinol. But again, I don't make that one myself either. So like realistically, this is all I need for my entire body care routine. Well, I do need a body scrub and a body lotion, but this face lotion would work as a body lotion. So actually that covers that. Oh, a conditioner, hair conditioner, that's very important. And typically I do use a heat protectant. Let me know if you guys want to see another video like this, like a face care routine for oily acne prone skin, like under $100. Or a face care routine for mature skin, or maybe like a body care routine, like scrub, body butter, body lotion, all under 100. I don't know, let me know. This is basically just a collection of Tara's necessities, I guess. Hope you enjoyed. All the formulas will be over on my Patreon. Over on Patreon, I post 2 exclusive videos every month. So not only do you get these formulas, you get every single past exclusive video I've ever shared on there since 2019. So personally, I think the $5 a month is so worth it. You can become a member here on YouTube as well, but Patreon has more content. So if you've accessed the Patreon in your country, sign up for Patreon. And you get access to my exclusive website where you can navigate through the content so much easier. Patreon members and YouTube members get access to the exclusive website, and it essentially has every single formula or formulation content ever, but organized much better. Personally, I think it's organized much better. Hope you guys enjoyed. Talk to you later, lab cats. Also, don't forget to go over and check out my Patreon, where I post 2 exclusive videos every single month. So there is a ton of videos you can go over and binge watch for only $5 a month. Also, if you don't have access to Patreon in your country, you can sign up as a YouTube member instead. If you sign up for the $10 tier on my Patreon, you get a shout out for your small business. I'll have all these brands linked below. naturesmagicllc.com. From Dusk Soapery on Etsy, LloydCandleCompany.com, HB Royal Retreat Store on Etsy, NaturesFarmGirl.com, Let's Blend LLC, at Stardust Bath and Body, HempyGirl.com, ShopLevi's.com, Owl and Lily over on Etsy, Skin Lounge Co. over on Etsy, BlackPetalBeauty.com, EmbraceBeautyEssentials.com, LegendaryBathAndBody.com, AstariApothecary.com, Reviga Cosmetics here on YouTube, XoreBB.com, PardoNaturals.com, NaturalStateSkin.com, TheNatureInUs.ca, NearCatalier.com. Use the code on the screen for 20% off. EarthAndAmberNaturals.com, SharkCityNaturals.com, DayToRelaxProducts.shop, CrownedGloryLLC.com, LHScentedSoapsAndMore.com, JanaeRose.com, HealthNutBeauty on Etsy, VelvetTemptations.com, JourneyRoseBeauty.com, CHRBrands.com, Homestead Life Goods on Etsy, CanellaBathandBody.com, MadhouseMamaSoaps.com, Expo.com, Mystical Morning on Etsy, allthingscent.net, snuta.square.site, 7th House and Oak on Etsy, and mycrownandglowery.com. Thank you so much for you guys' support. Without you guys over on Patreon, I wouldn't be able to do what I do, so thank you so much.